State ascoltando il podcast E.I.T.R con E.I.T.H.R.
So, let's start with the E.I.T.H.R.
And happy Monday to everybody out there listening. This is your boy D-Cal hosting the E.I.T.H.R podcast here from the GNS Inc. headquarters in Sacramento, California. Happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Thank you very much for tuning in this Monday afternoon or this Monday evening, wherever you may be on the planet. I want to give a shout out to some new followers on the Twitter account. And if you're not following with a Twitter account, then that is your problem. But let's go ahead and solve that problem right now. Go ahead and log in, or Instagram, same handle, at E.I.T.H.R, which is the E.I.T.H.R. For everyone who's new to this, the E.I.T.H.R is the elephant in the room, where we kind of discuss topics and discussions that people have the hardest times on addressing and don't always have the right perspective on how to approach it. So what I do is I take what used to be known as common sense, which is now uncommon sense, and try to find the middle ground, or the neutral zone, where people can stand on and see both sides respectively of a certain topic. Sometimes you may agree, most times you probably won't, and usually the ones who don't agree consistently have a hard time of seeing anything different from their own perspective. And I can understand that, because at one point I too was stubborn and only my way was the right way, until I had this epiphany that, there's more than one way to get to an intersection, which means there's more than one way to get to a solution. And sometimes your route may not be the quickest. So here we address that. A lot going on right now in the U.S. and across the planet. Right now, I like to start my whole podcast off by giving some type of a shout out. So, what up to my peoples on the Facebook group, Business Lounge for Successful Entrepreneurs. It's 11,000 members strong. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's there, that's supporting, that's out there trying to hustle, make their business. If you guys go ahead and search on Facebook, and if you happen to be blessed and selected to join such a prestigious social media group as I am, you're going to realize there's a lot of people out there who are like-minded with you, with the same common future, and achieving whatever goal you're trying to do. Next, I'd like to do is go ahead and give some type of encouragement. I like to believe that when you give positive reinforcement or incantation, the things that helps you see clearer, keeps your mind more in an optimistic versus a pessimistic perspective, your vision becomes clearer in what it is you're trying to achieve. So today, what I'd like to make everybody understand: don't waste your time on idiots. Just don't waste your time on idiots. It's save your time. Don't waste your time wasting their time trying to explain something to somebody who just doesn't get it. Sometimes it's just not their time to hear it. Sometimes it's just not their time to feel it. They might not be ready for it right now. But later on in the line, something that you said is going to resonate in their brain. They're going to reminisce on where they heard it from. They're going to think about you, and then most likely they'll come back to you. Sometimes you just can't force feed somebody when they're not hungry. Remember, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Well, you can bring a human to knowledge, but you can't make them think. So at times, say what you got to say, and if they still on that bullshit, let them ride off to the sunset with it. Eventually, it'll come back when it needs to come back. So that's pretty much what that is. Okay? So today's episode is going to be extremely short because I know a lot of people got more things they want to do, like using illegal fireworks and pissing off their neighbors. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys do that. Courtesy of Gene as Entertainment, that's the music that you hear in the background. I figured it'd be a nice little sedity for you to bob your head to while you hear my voice going on this little rant. 4th of July is supposed to be an Independence Day from this country and the British in 1776 and all that fun shit. And it was a federal holiday about 40 some odd years ago. So it's been recognized for almost half a century for all of us to be able to take the day off and barbecue and do all kind of cool things that we want to do. So you guys are probably in the middle of doing that right now. But I want to express this. As an American, you have to understand. The liberties that you view may not be viewed the same by others. And in my opinion, you have to ask yourself this question: what's more patriotic for you? A, for a fellow countryman to say that he or she has an issue what's going on with the country, and you to assist your fellow countryman because if they have a problem, you have a problem. Or B, their problem doesn't bother you, so therefore you tell them to kick rocks. You got to ask yourself which is more of the patriotic form to take. If your neighbor has a problem, does that problem become your problem? Or do you isolate their problem from you so that way they only have to deal with it as long as it doesn't bother you? I think a lot of us have to kind of look at it from that perspective because there's still a lot of ish going on in the country that is creating division. And I've heard that there's some advocates out there that are telling people, to wear all black to kind of, express your displeasement with the definition of independence. Because what are we being independent from, or for, or by, or with, or against? Especially what's going on for the past few weeks in the U.S. So if you don't necessarily agree with whatever is going on, you have to ask yourself, why don't I agree? Are they facing issues that I do not have to associate myself with? Or are they facing issues that are self-inflicted? Sometimes it's a combination of both, but most of the time it's people who don't have to associate, so they distance themselves from any type of solution because they don't want to be bothered with it. Listen, you do you, boo-boo. But at the same time, you have to understand where these people are coming from. There was a mass shooting in Chicago earlier today, actually. And it's unfortunate. A couple dozen people were hurt, and a high-powered rifle was discovered. The suspect is still out at large and considered armed and dangerous. I remember reading an article that the president wanted to do something about micro branding, if I remember correctly, micro branding or something like that on ammunition and guns, because there's some weapons like ghost guns and things like that where you can buy them in pieces and you can assemble them yourselves, where they're either more difficult to trace or they're harder to trace. So at least by that measure, it makes it easier for people to track, to trace, to find where guns are coming from, the bullets are coming from, who they're registered to. It's just interesting that on the 4th of July, there's a mass shooting from a rooftop. Highland Park, Illinois is the neighborhood. So I don't know. I guess we're just not going to learn, even on the day that we're supposed to be celebrating. There's a bad apple in every bunch, no matter where it is you go. But I didn't want to bring this topic up today because I kind of want to do something more cheerful. But again, this is the ether. We talk about the elephant in the room. And a lot of these topics seem to be redundant, and that's just because as a country, we collectively, we just don't get it. We don't understand it. Hopefully one day we will. Hopefully one day we will in our own timeline while we're walking this earth. We'll be able to see, okay, they got it now. We figured it out. We understand it. It's just 4th of July. I mean, domestic terrorism doesn't stop even on 4th of July. On a patriotic day such as this, they want to show their patriotism on a group of people at a festival that was 3/4 complete, almost to the end. And they had to go ahead and, poor choice of words, make their mark. And wasn't needed, but it was done. So heart goes out to the people that were affected by this directly, and heart goes out to those who were affected indirectly, because it's something that should not have to be taking place even to this day. It just doesn't make any damn sense. But here we are. Here we are. People want to express their full-fledged Second Amendment right, and you can do that. But definitely some accountability needs to be taking place. It has to be taken. So, kind of want to know what everyone got planned on for the rest of the day. Like I said, here in the West Coast, it's 3:42 p.m. East Coast is 6:42. So how was your day? You guys are more than welcome to hit me up on the chat line here if you have the Spreaker app. Or like I said, you can follow us on the social media, Twitter and Instagram at E.I.TH.R, the E.I.T.H.R. Really not much to say. Like I said, the moment I saw the mass shooting thing, it kind of just took the wind out of my sails for the podcast. As I was really, truly hoping to discuss something a little more upbeat, more positive. We get new people listening every so often, and I appreciate that. And I don't always want this shit to be something that's so negative and draining. But these are topics that we need to discuss, and that's the purpose of this podcast, is to discuss the things that not everybody really wants to talk about. You can't avoid it. And the more we avoid it, the longer we avoid it, the more it's going to continue to exist. And so at some point, man, we got to just look at this and kind of hold ourselves accountable. You know, it takes a village. And I just feel that if people just took pride in their own villages and made sure that their village stayed the way it's supposed to, a lot of these situations wouldn't happen. And there's reasons why they continue to happen. And it's a damn shame that it is. But I'm going to try to change the tone just a little bit on this. And I want to ask you guys a question. Because it's the beginning of the month. It's holiday weekend. And have you guys ever been so broke that when you actually have money left over, you literally think that you forgot to pay a bill? Kind of ask yourself that question. Have you ever been so broke and just all your money is going to something that when you pay a bill and you look back at your balance and your balance still shows money, you have a freak out panic attack, just a mild panic attack, like what didn't get paid, what's going to get shut off? That's a problem, right? That's an issue. That's not normal, man. That's not a normal thing. I know the first thing you want to do if you ever have that situation happen is you want to kind of go out and treat yourself and do something nice. Hey, whatever you choose to do with your money is what you choose to do with your money. But what I would suggest is if you have that extra $50, like take that 10 or 20 and put it towards a utility bill. I know you're kind of thinking, why would I pay it towards a utility bill? Because the bill's not due just yet. It kind of acts like a credit, right? It kind of acts like a credit on that bill. So when next month's invoice comes up and you're expecting that bill to be X amount of dollars, you now have a credit on that bill. And from experience, it's nothing like having a negative sign with some numbers behind it and the letter CR next to it. It kind of makes you say, damn, This is a relief. And once you have that credit on your bill, believe it or not, you'll try to use that utility significantly less than you did the month before because you want that credit to stretch, right? Because that's one less bill you got to worry about. So try that if you got any extra money left over. Just put a little extra something towards your utility bill. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is a lot of people are out there drinking and driving to this day. I don't. It's holiday weekend and it's Monday. There's a lot of people who are not going to see Tuesday because they didn't make it past Sunday. I need you guys out there, man, just to be cautious and be careful. Like I said, my mother told me this a long time ago. When you get behind the wheel, it's not just your car you got to drive, ladies and gentlemen, but you have to drive everyone else's car as well, right? You can tell a lot about a person's vehicle and how they drive, their personality, or what kind of day they're having. Just be aware. Make sure you guys check your windows, you check your mirrors, you check, your blind spots. This shit that I'm saying right now is so elementary, but it makes a big difference. You know how many people have merged over into my lane because they didn't look over their shoulder. And I've seen so many accidents last week because people were probably checking a text message, realistically, not paying attention to the cars around them, didn't pay attention to that car who was speeding to beat that red light, didn't pay attention to the stop sign that they blew right past, or people on motorcycles. You guys are probably some of the worst because when you lane split, people don't always know what side of the car you're on. They just hear a motor. And there's a 50% chance when they hear your motor, they're going to look on the side of the car that you're not instinctively to see where you are, which sometimes people will sway the opposite way. They don't mean to do it. They just do it. So you see a lot of signs that tell you look out for motorcycles, share the road motorcycles. Here's my biggest problem with that. Cyclists, you guys have to share the road with automobiles too. It's not just you. You feel me? It's not just you. I feel when signs say, look out for pedestrians, look out for motorcycles, look out for people on bicycles, you're kind of giving those folks this, God, I don't want to use the word entitlement, but this free enforcement, like they can do whatever they want because they have the right of way the whole time. In actuality, people on two tired motor vehicles or using transportation that has two wheels, you have to be cautious and aware of cars that's around you too. Okay? Like I said, lane splitting. People don't pay attention, man. And it's your responsibility to make sure that your bike does not do any cartwheels on the one-on-one. It's just as important. You know what I'm saying? So, cyclists, if you're listening to this, people on motorcycles, if you listen to this, when you're about to lane split, good luck. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to give some advice so that it doesn't sound like it's going to help at all because you guys are going to probably do what the hell you want to do anyway. All I know is when I'm on the freeway, I tend to look in my mirror to make sure that I see the motorcycle coming up because I hear the engine. But you have to understand that everybody on the freeway is trying to get to the same place you are, which is that way. So when you are in between two vehicles, you are also putting yourself at a risk of getting hurt because these vehicles don't know where you are. You are slim, you are nimble, you are quick. These vehicles are big, they're bulky. We look at one side, you might be on the other side. We don't know what's going on, plus all the other vehicles around us, bro. So you need to do your part and make sure if you're gonna cut in between the lane, the car in front of you sees you, recognizes you. And cars, at least do a courtesy out of the way for the motorcycle. That way, maybe the car behind you can see the car behind them, or the car in front of you can see the car behind them. Move to the side, so it gives them, okay, the motorcycle's on my driver's side. It's on my passenger side. Something. It's 4th of July, and there's going to be people out there on their motorcycles. There's going to be people out there who are coming back from road trips. There's going to be people who are traveling home on their bikes because they didn't want to deal with the traffic of 4th of July weekend. we want to make sure that they see you home too. Listen, everybody be safe, do the best you can, and just look out for one another.
Yo, what up, folks? This is Rodney Farrell, the CEO of Farrell Development Group, and you're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast, hosted by E.I.T.H.R. Let's get it.
So it's important, man, that everybody kind of just, like I said, looks out for everybody, especially on the road. Like I said, last week I saw like 4 accidents within 2 days. It's ridiculous because people just aren't paying attention for whatever reason, or people are trying to speed through, or people not using their signals, or people not doing something. And it's getting kind of ridiculous that we're in 2022 and we have to still tell people to wash their hands and use their blinkers. I don't know. But for me, it's getting kind of annoying. So that's it. We will be back on Friday, 3:30. Hopefully this week is going to be more of a productive week. We have a little bit less politics to talk about. Hopefully it's something more exciting and fun. I might go ahead and do sports. I think I may talk about sports. I'm not exactly too sure yet. We're going to see what pop up. But I appreciate everybody who is supporting the podcast, supporting everything that we got going on. And man, y'all just be safe out there. Take care of one another. Love one another. Because when it comes down to it, we all that we got. And if you love thy neighbor, make sure you let them know this. So that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday, 3:30 Pacific time. You guys be good. Holla back.
And it has been my absolute privilege and honor to be teaching people about doTERRA's essential oils for the last 9 years and helping people live their most vibrant life. If you'd like to learn more about my natural solutions, please feel free to contact me on Facebook at Bay Area Terra Tribe Essential Oils and Natural Solutions, or check out my website, my.doterra.com/Romero. That's my.doterra.com/ROMERO. Thank you.